Hello, so welcome to this video for COMP3218, Games Design and Development at the University of Southampton. My name is Dave Millard, I'm one of the lecturers on the course, and I'm here with...
Charles Hutchins, I'm one of the demonstrators on the course.
Brilliant. Okay, well we're going to have a look at a couple of games in this video. Charles, do you want to say a little bit about what we asked the students to do?
Yeah, sure. So we asked them to create a prototype game with a strong core dynamic and a tutorial level to just sort of show off various aspects of their game.
Brilliant. Well, in that case, let's get on and have a look at our first game. Okay, so our first game up is called Fat B 3D. So here we go. So this is running in a window, but that's fine. I don't know if you can hear the sound effects, but there's a really nice kind of sound of a forest with bird song and insects buzzing. So I really like that. It's very atmospheric. You find yourself in a world of gentle hums and deep resonant buzzes. A dark little sticky and overwhelming hexagonal inside a beehive, but fear not, your adventure is just about to unfold. S and down to continue. And there's a skip tutorial. I'm just looking. So we've got look like a couple of stats up in the top left hand corner. An annoying factor. So it's like annoying goose game, but with bees. Right. So we've got S and S. Oh, S and down. Okay, oh, it's just WAS. So keep in mind this isn't a bird or a helicopter journey. You're a small bee with a limited view. Use diagonal moves for swift, grounded navigation. The higher you fly, the harder it's to navigate. Your first mission, locate a flower without wandering too far. It's nestled right next to the tree. Oh, there's my bee. There he is. So I wasn't entirely sure when I started whether it was a first person, but it's a side scroller. Oh my, wow, that's a really nice effect. Okay, so it's near the tree. So what am I looking for? A flower? Collect nectar to fill your bee belly. Watch the slider increase as you visit each stamen, playing a crucial part in pollination. Keep going, every bit of nectar contributes to the cycle of life. Okay, so can I collect... So can I collect from any flower at all? Anything? Yeah. Okay. Carrying nectar in your bee belly affects your speed. I think I've swollen up, but it's essential for gathering more energy. Watch the Be Alive bar as it reflects your energy levels. Flying depletes energy. Oh, it's gone. That's interesting. It disappeared before I could read it. What do you think I have to do? What does H do? Okay. So presumably I've got to go back to the hive, one would guess.
Yeah. The beehive is full, is it? Top left? Not sure.
Or maybe it's empty and I need to...
Oh, maybe it's empty, yeah.
Where's my bee... Oh, hang on. That's not the tree. Where's my beehive gone? Ugh. There we go. I'm not sure. Flying doesn't appear to be using my energy levels. Where's my beehive? Was it all... Oh, it really was all the way up here. Oh, there we go.
Yes.
And my bee belly's empty.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, so I've got to find some more flowers. There we go. Alright, so it's quite a zen game so far, if I'm honest. My bee belly again. So, do I actually have to fill up the whole hive, do you think, before we go forwards with the tutorial?
Oh, I don't know.
No, the answer is. So it would have been nice maybe to indicate that, maybe by filling up the hive a bit more quickly, but... Okay, gather nectar to make honey, crucial when maintaining health and energy. Hive a sanctuary, return to your hive, collected network, recharge your energy. With your honey energy boosts you can... Okay, you can explore further. Stats and flowers reset, you can keep the honey. Very generous. Right, let's go. So, my job is to collect honey. So why would I not just collect honey from these flowers here? Do you think?
Because it's giving you, you're accomplishing the goal.
So can I? Ah, they disappear, so they've gone grey.
Did they say it respawns or?
Oh, I'm full. Well, let's find out. So I went to those white flowers on the end. The beehive seems a very long way up when you're full of nectar. There we go. So if we come down here, yeah, they've gone.
Oh,
so
okay.
I can only collect them once, but there's still quite a lot of flowers here. I wonder whether they've made a mistake not requiring me to go further afield to start with. Oh, perhaps they do. Can I not collect these? Ah, that's interesting. So I thought I collected these before. Oh, I did.
Oh, okay. We can.
Maybe
okay.
I just wasn't quite on them or something. No, don't be able to collect that one. Okay, I've got that one. Alright. Here we go, back up here again. Maybe I should go for a bit of an explore and see what I can find. My Be Alive bar at the bottom, I haven't noticed that going down at all.
No.
Perhaps if I go for an exploration. What's over here? Oh, what's that? Oh, it's a picnic bench. With an apple on it. Nice. Let's go for an explore. I mean, I don't really need to go and explore over here. I don't kind of... I suppose I'm only doing this because I'm not really sure what else to do. I've got an annoying factor. Not plenty. Maybe something. I get a bit of a step change when I fill the hive up. So let's do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back before I get really big and slow. Still no change to my energy level.
So does that? Do you make honey from H, or is that?
Yes, it seems to do something.
Hmm.
Maybe we missed that on the tutorial because it disappeared, didn't it?
Yeah.
I don't appear to be able to collect that. Collecting seems a bit...
I think. Are you full?
Oh, I'm full. I'm looking at the wrong one, that's why. Okay. There's me blaming the bee, and it's the driver. Let's go up. Okay, so one more trip.
Yeah.
Right. So I wonder whether the problem is that I am collecting, but they're not going grey.
Oh yeah, because you're.
Bar's going up. Oh, that one's gone grey. So I think maybe one of the things because I mean the look of this is wonderful, right? I think this looks brilliant. I've done a really nice job, and I guess we'll talk about presentation and stuff in a minute. But one of the things they've missed out on, or missed a little bit of a trick with, is given that you're collecting nectar, they should make the act of collecting nectar as satisfying as possible, and it just feels a little bit sort of floaty and weird at the moment. So right, let's see if this fills the beehive. Right, let's fill the beehive. Can I make? Right, I pressed H. I emptied the beehive and made some stuff. Okay. So I don't have a score or anything. I don't appear to.
No.
I'm collecting more. Nectar weight.
Oh, I'm just realising that your nectar weight's going up.
Yeah.
Your stats.
Yeah, there we go. So nectar. So can I collect more? I think am I going a bit faster than I was? Feels like I am. Let's try. So back up here. Okay, it just says vertical speed. I don't know whether that's debug information or whether I'm supposed to have that. So that's collected from that flower. Okay. So I'm wondering whether this is working fully, because I mean, I'm flying around, I'm doing my thing, but it's not perhaps quite as much challenge. So either we need to play it for a bit longer and something will happen, or this is kind of where we are, and that some of these things are just leftovers. I mean, you've got the game notes though. Is it worth just having a look at the game notes to see what they say about their game and whether it matches up to what we're seeing here?
So the need to collect nectar to sustain energy is a direct nod to the classic survival trope of resource upkeep for survival. I don't. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see that your bee life is in any imminent danger.
So this is supposed to be. So it's a kind of collection game. All right. Well, I will carry on playing, and let's start going through. Let's start going through the notes, because we can do that. Let's presentations first up. I mean, I'm going to have to go further afield anyways as I gradually empty all these flowers. So yeah, presentation. I mean, I really like the presentation, I have to say. The kind of the 3D stuff, the scale works really nicely. You know, the sort of the bigger view you get as you go up, kind of giving you a sense. I know it's not parallax, but it's that parallax effect because it's actually a 3D background that works really well. The clarity of the flowers at the front work really well for me. So all of those elements are brilliant, and I said I'm not sure whether you can hear the effects, but the sound of the forest and the bee is very nice. It's a little bit of a shame it doesn't respond to me, so there's no noise based on my actions, right? Oh, my life!
Right.
Oh, look at that! I'm going much quicker now. So that's a little bit of a shame. It would have been nice to have some sort of confirmation noise, or some sort of noise that was responding. I imagine that'd be quite hard to do, have an accurate buzzing sound, but would have been good. But yeah, otherwise I think the presentation's really, really nice. The information design I've got is very clear. The beehive, the bee belly, the bee alive thing just is there, but it just isn't working. So it doesn't quite fit under this. So yeah, what do you think of the presentation of it?
Yeah, I really like it. I do like the. Yeah, like you say, I like the clarity of the flowers, and I quite like these little yellow dots are common throughout all flowers.
Yes.
So it's quite nice, and that's nectar. I need to get that.
That's very true, actually.
So that's quite nice. I think the little model, the little bee itself, is very nice with the flapping wings, and
yep.
Yeah, no, I really like it. So I'm guessing we're at the sort of good level.
Well, so good. Yeah, good would be a sort of a professional look, and I think that's definitely there. So excellent would be impactful. There are elements of this, I think, which are actually. I think for me, the music and the graphics certainly are. So I'd be tempted to put it up at the excellent level actually for presentation. I think it's really, really nicely done.
Yeah.
There's probably so there's the things that would stop it, I suppose, would be being any higher than that would be that that annoying factor on the bottom is a bit strange. It doesn't really match with the rest of it. Leaving the stats on the top left there is also not a particularly good fit. So for me, I think those are the issues. But in general, really nice job with the presentation. And it's worth saying, I think this is the work of a single person, so they've done a good job to make it look as nice as this.
Yeah.
Play. So this is kind of an interesting one. So this is the mechanics that we've got, the controls that we have, sort of any bugs and things. It's so satisfactory would be playable, right? And I think it's playable. But we are lacking a little bit of complexity in terms of the mechanics. And that, I think, stops it being, the good level would be sort of an engaging game. And I wouldn't say I was engaged. I would say, it has a certain zen charm about it, but it's, dare I say, a little bit boring. And also, here, look, I'm not collecting these flowers, so there are a few little bugs and things going on here.
Yeah.
So I would say that it's playable. The one thing that might make it lower than that might be the fact that the be alive bit doesn't seem to be working.
Yes.
And also, I can hit H and H. No, it doesn't do anything when I haven't got a honey sign there. So yeah. So So maybe that's the bit that makes it a more interesting game, right? Where I'm trying to sort of effectively manage manage my flight and my energy and I'm sort of missing all of that stuff because it doesn't seem to be working. So maybe for that reason, that would be, a pass would be challenging, sort of few mechanics, awkward controls, may have some bugs. I think it's better than that, but yeah, maybe with that not working, maybe it's halfway between a pass and satisfactory for play.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because it does feel, feels like it's not. It feels like I'm playing something that isn't quite the experience I should be having.
Yeah, I was wondering if this is a tutorial level and there's supposed to be other levels that we haven't seen. I don't know if did you have a title menu? I can't remember.
I did, and I had a skip tutorial thing. So do you think we've got stuck on the tutorial? Because it did tell us the tutorial's over, but the skip tutorial kind of disappeared, right? So I'll tell you what, I will fill up one more time and then we will restart because I don't think I've got a. And we give it a go because I said, given how nice it looks, it does feel a shame not to have more playable content like the sub.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, I'm miles away from filling it up, aren't I? So, it's a long way up there. Alright. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to restart the game. Hang on a second. Right. Annoying factor. Thank you for testing. So I'm not sure what that's supposed to be as well.
No.
B start, be gone. Let's do a B start. And I'm going to skip the tutorial.
Oh, hello.
I've got an annoying factor is set at 2 now.
And your be alive is also decreasing.
At last, the game.
Yeah, I think this is.
So we were stuck in the tutorial. So what I'm imagining now is I'm imagining them watching our video, screaming at the screaming at it, saying no, please. So all right, let's see if we get any better here. All right, well we can. I think the presentation discussion we had sort of holds.
Yeah.
But we might want to revisit the meaningful play. But let's here we go. Let's get into this a bit. All right, so. There we go. So it doesn't rejuvenate completely when I go back to the hive. So some of my criticisms still hold. So I still feel like it feels a little bit unsatisfying when you collect the nectar. It's kind of a bit fiddly to land on the. I almost want like a snap to nectar feature.
Yeah.
With a nice kind of like slurping bee sound or something. I don't know. What noise do bees make when they drink nectar? But I want to be doing this quite quick because it's so I come back up here again. So I don't use any energy going up and down, just left and right, I think. So at the minute I can just fill up from these, except I can't tell which I've got, which I haven't. Okay, so we get one of these. Yeah, I think so I'm looking. There's a little debug thing in the top left called in flower zone, which switches to true when he drinks. So some of those flowers are not being detected for some reason. There we go. So my Be Alive stuff is gradually going down. I'm regenerating it, but okay, here we go. So I am feeling a bit more peril than I was before, I suppose, but it's not radically different. Let's go and get some more in here.
There's nothing sort of like encouraging you to explore like the outer, like beyond this kind of tiny patch of flowers, is there?
Well, I suppose they will eventually run out, but at the minute, no, because there's enough here, and that may have been a mistake, you know, kind of maybe. I feel like I still feel like I'm in a tutorial level. I still feel like this is so, you know, there's this thing in sort of, I know this isn't the storytelling game, but there are a thing in storytelling where a classic story, you know, the world is in equilibrium, and then something happens, and then, you know, and you know, the world is in disequilibrium, and it's exciting and interesting, and then the story is basically how they get back to equilibrium again, right? And games in many sense, you know, even non-narrative games need to follow that kind of structure. And this just feels like equilibrium. It feels like, yeah, it's fine. I'm just flying around, enjoying my life, getting some nectar, making some honey, hanging with my bee mates, right? And it's like it's fine for a few minutes, and I want something to happen. I want, you know, I want to be having to dodge stuff as I'm flying around, or I want, you know, a bit more challenge. So let's find out what happens when I fill up the hive. So let's make a right. So what do you think the annoying factor is?
I don't know. I was wondering if there's someone nearby, like a human model. You buzz around their head or something.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Yeah, how annoying. So I am having to go a bit further now, so I'm getting these things, but I'm still kind of, you know, life is good, everything's fine. There we go. I also feel like every time every collection fills the hive up a very small amount. So I go faster the lower I go, I think. Is that right? Or maybe I don't actually. Maybe it's just the 3D effect. Okay, so it's getting more.
I'm not sure what the honey does. There doesn't seem to be a honey count, or you press H to create honey.
Yeah, and that works, and it goes, yeah, you've created some honey, well done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels kind of. So I'm guessing from this, assuming that nothing radical changes, that so the only difference over the game we were playing before was that the Be Alive thing is working, right? So going back to our meaningful play, assuming we don't discover a whole new level of extra stuff, I think what that means is that the meaningful play is at the satisfactory level. It's playable, right? But I wouldn't describe this as engaging, right? It's like, yeah, I can play it fine. I can engage with it. There are some other problems with it, but I think we'll come to those as we go through the rest of the criteria. So if we think about level design, so this was in two parts. This was sort of goal, risks, and rewards. So do I know what I'm doing, and do I have some agency in the game? Can I make decisions about what I'm doing in a useful way? And the other one was about pacing. So if we think about goals, risks, and rewards, what do you think my goal is?
Well, we've been obviously told that there's the nectar is the goal.
Yeah.
And to collect it and make honey. But I don't see what benefit we get from making the honey. I think we've touched on this before.
Yeah. So if I had something that was like a honey made meter, right, that was going up as I was doing this, so that would act like a high score effectively, right? And then I would have a very clear goal. It's like your goal is to make as much honey as possible. Yeah, I kind of, if the Be Alive meter was going down constantly, so rather than just when I moved, and then I had a timer, then my goal would be to survive as long as possible, right? And it's like, yeah, fly around, collect honey, your energy's going down constantly, so you have to collect honey in order to survive, and the better you do at collecting the honey, the longer you'll survive. So for me, that would probably be the easiest way to make this a more engaging game, I think, with a better goal. But at the moment, the goal's a little bit vague. It's like, collect the nectar, but we don't know why, what the ultimate point is. And then goals and risks and reward. Do I have, what is my risk and reward here? So I've got a little bit of risk because I can fly further. But what's my reward for flying further?
Yeah.
So I think these are a little bit confused. A pass would be that we have a limited set of goals and risks and rewards, and a poor would be that we have a incoherent or very limited set. I would say that we're around that level, aren't we? Around the kind of poor pass mark. We've kind of got a little bit going on, but it really isn't clear why we're doing it.
Incoherent, maybe it's between the two.
Yeah. So
it is limited. Yeah, it's a limited set, but they do kind of make it does kind of make sense. There's a bee collection, and there's a collection process. We can fly around for longer if we collect more. There is some, isn't there?
Yeah. So as you said, maybe between the two of them.
Yeah.
To reflect the fact that we've got a little bit of purpose, and there's that little bit of risk from flying further. And pacing. So what we're looking for is a kind of a game that with a difficulty level or a level of excitement, if you like, that rises ideally in a kind of in a pattern, a sort of zigzag pattern over time. There is a natural increase here as I have to go further and further to find the nectar, but it's certainly not a coherent pattern, I don't think. And it feels very slow to me. This is still very, very easy. I'm not being challenged at all here to do this. So it feels like it's a very gradual rise. Anyway, I've got to go across the thing now, so maybe it'll get a bit more challenging. So there's some flowers here. So if we think about the pacing, a pass would be tension somewhat rises over time, and satisfactory would be tension clearly rises over time. And I don't think it meets the satisfactory. A poor would be there's some variations in tension, but no coherent pattern over time. I think it does. Tension somewhat rises over time, but it's so slow. But maybe for the benefit of the doubt, we could say this is at a pass level for the pacing.
Yeah.
So perhaps reflecting the fact that it's a work of a single person, so a little bit limited in what you can do in terms of developing a level.
Yeah.
So that takes us on to the tutorial. I almost don't want to go back to the tutorial because I want to make sure, I want to see what happens as I play the game.
Yeah.
But But so what did it do? It gave me the instructions when I started on the screen. So use the S to go down, WASD or keys to move around, and then I had a bit of text that appeared and told me what to do. And it was a skippable tutorial. It had a little bit of a problem that it left us in the tutorial, but it was there. So we had a tutorial. So a pass would be gradual explanation of gameplay and controls revealed as you play. I think part of the problem here is that there's so few mechanics, right? And there's no real, because of that very, very flat rise in difficulty, there's no new things revealed. It's very hard to have a kind of a tutorial that's actually properly integrated with play because there's nothing to introduce.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think they did a reasonable job of giving you some instructions, but there was nothing really introduced through level design. It was very much telling me, not showing me. If that makes sense. So a poor would be some explanation of gameplay and controls, and a pass would be gradual explanation revealed as you play. And my gut feeling is it is a gradual explanation, but it's over so quickly, there's so little to explain, that maybe it's halfway between the two.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't need too much. So, a very simple thing would be to have different flowers have different amounts of nectar, and there's only the flowers near me aren't very good, and the flowers a bit further away a bit better. And that would have helped, right? That wouldn't have really introduced very much in terms of new code that needed to be written, but it would have introduced that little bit of variety and would have enabled you to demonstrate some of this stuff a bit better. So I think we're kind of there. So this is getting a bit. I am running out of energy now. I've just noticed. I've been zooming around all over the place. So maybe we'll find me getting to the point where it's. But part of the difficulty is because I don't appear to be collecting any nectar from these flowers, despite the fact they've got some.
Yeah. What if you create some honey? Does that give you a bit more time?
Yes. Oh, that's probably why. So I probably forgot to create the honey.
Gives you a lot more.
Yeah. I think when you return to the beehive, it gives you a little bit, and when you create the honey, it gives you loads. Yeah, there we go. So up we come. Right, okay. So I think that was the tutorial, wasn't it? We sort of. So that takes us on to the core dynamic. I'm interested to see what they think it is. The obvious one, I suppose, is collection, but there's a certain amount of exploration, a certain amount of survival. So what did they go for?
They went with survival.
Okay. So, and what was their reasoning?
The game's mechanics propel players to constantly consider their resources and environment to maintain the well-being of their character, or be.
Yeah.
So, foraging for sustenance is the game's primary loop, requiring players to balance the expenditure of energy with its replenishment. Okay. So,
yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? To what extent do you think they've achieved that?
I always think with survival that there's going to be some element, there's an element of danger, and I don't really see that at the moment. Like you say, it's very zen, and I always imagine survival games being very tense, but actually they ramp quite a lot over time.
Yeah.
Which I know we've already talked about, but that's how I feel survival. That's like one of the key aspects of survival. I haven't come across a game that's more sort of like you say, a little bit more slower paced, but still survival. I don't know if those two aspects can really work, or if they're at odds with each other.
I think they are. I think it's not something we talk about in the course too much, but this idea of alignment between the elements. So we do talk about it a little bit in the narrative lectures, where we talk about the alignment between narrative and play. But here it's the whole kind of it's the whole kind of the theme, if you like. I've got, as you said, I've got this very relaxing soundscape. I've got, the garden is very gentle, and to try and put that against a survival theme just doesn't quite work. I mean, actually, the mechanics they have, they are survival mechanics, right? I mean, I'm flying around, I've got to collect nectar, I've got to manage my energy, and it gets harder over time as I've got to go further and further. So, they have got it. It is working, but it's working very slowly. The game's way too easy, right? Because I'm not. Apart from the bit where I forgot to make the honey, I'm not being challenged. And as a result of that, because of the pacing and that feeling, it feels like the dynamic that's being the actual experience I'm having is more of a collection experience or an exploration experience. The exploration experience is slightly spoiled by the fact that it doesn't appear that I get rewarded for exploration or anything. And the collection experience is kind of spoiled by the fact I'm not really rewarded for collection either. So I wonder whether, we talked about this earlier, but the way to make this a much more effective survival game would have been to have your energy just constantly going down, right? So you are having to collect nectar literally to keep yourself in the air, right? And then to make the goal very clearly to go as far as possible in terms of time. And that I think would have been much more coherent. It would have required very little additional work to make that work. So if we think about the core dynamic, so a pass would be an attempt at core dynamic but not well supported by the primary mechanics. And I think that's exactly where we are, right? I think kind of, we've got, what is it? So the primary mechanic is it feels like it just doesn't. They don't. The mechanics are there to support it, but they don't work together as a system, right? To make it worthwhile. I mean, I am. So here we go. I am starting to run out of energy now, I guess. So we're getting to the point where I guess the game. I also wonder whether the game has a bit of a step change. Whether at some point it just becomes impossible to do. So it's like it's very easy for ages, and then all of a sudden it's just impossible.
Yeah.
And you just hit the wall. And I wouldn't mind betting. I'm going to go for a bit of an explore in a minute, and I'll try and make one lot of honey, give myself some energy, and then just go for it. Maybe I'm just being far too risk averse, and there's a really interesting battle with wasps off to my right or something. Who knows? So I think the core dynamic is probably at the pass level, right? It's kind of an attempt at a core dynamic, but just doesn't quite pull it off. And that takes us to the feedback. So what feedback did they get in the labs, and how did they respond to that feedback?
So one of the feedback that they got was, the first one was tutorial complexity. The tutorial was meant to be quite text heavy and potentially disrupting from gameplay flow.
So we did say that. We said they tell, not show, and that's a problem. So what did they do as a result? Because it still feels quite text heavy.
Well, yeah, I think suggestions were made to streamline the learning process through level design and to avoid conflicting with the keep busy or die mechanic.
Okay.
So I suppose they stopped you being able to die in the tutorial, I'm guessing.
Oh, okay.
Just to kind of like get you used to the controls, and then I know that it didn't work in our specific case, but I suppose what would happen is, you'd go, and then the be alive meter would then tick down.
Yeah. Okay, so it feels like to that they got some feedback that would really help them with the tutorial element, but they didn't quite embrace it. The kind of, I said, show don't tell. So is there anything else that they said for their feedback?
concerns were raised that the game might become less challenging over time due to mechanics that make sustaining energy easier, potentially reducing risk and excitement.
Yeah.
I don't know how they responded to that.
So
Doesn't say.
haven't really said. Okay. And anything else?
They got feedback saying that the camera was too zoomed in, causing movement to appear jerky, which often affect player control and experience. I don't. Have you found that in your? You've been playing.
No. I think that one of the things that, yeah, like you said, that's the best thing about this is the presentation of it, and that would include the perspective and the camera angle and all that kind of thing. I think they've done a nice job.
So I think they took it might have been more zoomed in possibly at one stage, and now they've zoomed out the camera.
Okay.
And I think this works well. I think it might get a little bit, as you get faster, it might get a little bit sort of jarring on the eyes, but
it is a little bit zooming down by the ground. But okay. Was that the last thing they talked about?
They've got I've misread. They've got a response section.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So they did widen the camera. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that has worked, definitely.
Yeah.
Any responses to the other things you mentioned?
So
no, not more than you've already said.
I think it's probably what I've already said, actually. Yeah.
Right. Should we go for an explore? So look. So it feels to me. So past would be feedback was addressed, but the changes have had limited success. Satisfactory would be somewhat successful, and good would be successful. So it feels to me like the camera was successful. That worked well. But the other things, I think they've had limited success. So so it feels to me that it's if it wasn't for the camera, it would be a pass, I think. Maybe with the camera that's interesting. I just hit another tree.
Oh, right.
I wasn't concentrating. As a hive. Okay, that's interesting. So there's another tree here. So I'm scoped. So yeah. So my feeling is that maybe it's better than a pass because of the camera thing, but that probably only nudges up to between a pass and a satisfactory, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in all, I think this is a really nice idea for a game, and I think that the look of it is great. I mean, really, really nice, and the soundscape as well. And I think what's slightly unfortunate is that it wouldn't have taken much tweaks, to really concentrate on if they were going for the survival, to really make that the point. And I think it would have been a much better playing experience if they managed to do that. But as I said, it is difficult when you're working on your own and you haven't got someone to bounce ideas off of. And I think from that point of view, I think they've done a good job. Shall we move on to our next game?
Yeah.
Okay, so our next game is called Stress Inc. So let's have a look at this one. Okay, here we go. I like the graphic style, very nice. Little pixel title, that's good. Start game, exit game. So I guess we'll start game. I've got the title, I have to say, is filling me with dread. I've got a feeling I'm going to be stressed. How much energy do you have? Oh, it's another energy game. Bosch's Patience, hit points down the bottom. Open your email by clicking on the screen. Okay, so this is the boss's Patience. So I click my email. Task will be sent to you by email. Don't let too many pile up from the big... So I presume I click on these. You have a meeting at 12 noon. Do not forget it. Okay, start task. Okay, I will not miss it. Have I done that? Or have I started the task or not, do you think?
I don't know.
Welcome to the company. Don't get fired. Start task.
Okay.
Oh, Alan Brown. Hello. Nice to meet a new co-worker. Fun. Do you want to be friends? Why is this start?
Understood.
Why am I missing a thing here where I get different options or something? Do you think?
I don't know. We've got a meeting at 12.
So if I go back to the office, I've got break. So do I click on the box to have a meeting? Can I have a break? Brew coffee to increase your energy. Let's go back to the office. Oh, can I click on anything else? No, I've just got those things. My energy's down, I think. If I go to the boss, how do I go to have a meeting with the boss? Meeting. Go to the meeting. Ah. Each has a colour and a word. Click only the ones that match. Pink. Okay. I love the idea of taking that kind of one little task and turning it into a thing. Quick, go to the office and pick up. Respond. Oh, my energy is going down. Hang up. What? So if I go to my email, but I've dealt with that one. Start. Yeah, I've done that already. Please ensure you've read through the HR policies document attached. Okay, so let's do that. Management issues. Please urgent printout. Start task. So I think that just means I've resolved the task, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Low energy. Get a. So I can breathe. I can go back and do some more tasks. I'm doing lunch options. Yeah, lunch options. That's great. It's mandatory security training. Oh no, it's security training. Oh right, I think I've done that. Campaign breaks. Yeah, do that. I will not miss it. I'm running out of energy. I'm going to get my brew. Get coffee from. Well, I need more coffee. You wasted. Why did I waste 2 coffees? No coffee left. Brew more. I'm going to stay here for this now. Okay, this is kind of bizarre. Oh no! My coffee went up when I brewed, but day 2. That was the crowing of a.
Oh, okay.
So endless task. Yeah, apparently. Oh, I've done that. I fixed this issue you mentioned. Go back to the office. Right, the boss seems happy enough anyway. See, I presumed if I could brew coffee, I could come back and drink it later. But
it does say come back later. Yeah.
Oh, endless tasks again. Understood. I get the feeling they ran out of ideas for tasks. Brewing is still going on. I drink my coffee. Oh, there they are. There's 3 of them. Okay. So can I drink a coffee? And there's 2 coffees left. So I presume I can come back and get them later. Is that a different endless tasks? Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'm well on top of things, aren't I? Can I click on the boss? Might as well just go and have another coffee. There you go. Keep me happy. Oh, more endless tasks. Meeting in an hour. Okay. And more endless. So that was endless tasks, but it was a meeting. Okay. So what time was the meeting? 12:26. All right. Better go to the office then and meeting. Here we go. Oh dear. I don't know why I find this really funny, because it's mildly stressful, I think.
Yeah.
But I also love the conceit that like your colleagues are mostly talking nonsense. You have to spot when they're actually saying something that matches reality. Oh, I missed one. And I'm not entirely sure what happens. What was the consequence of me not clicking on them? I don't really know. More tasks. I hope to fix the issue. Okay. We're good. I've got lots of energy. I don't need a break. I've got coffee left on the tray waiting for me. It's a bit of a shame that the coffee tray isn't quite in the same. They've got a really nice style throughout this. And it's a bit of a shame that breaks the style, I think.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm quite enjoying the look and feel of it. Like even the computer here is, congratulations, the promotion you got will help the company. I got a promotion apparently. Meeting in an hour. Okay. Oh. Yeah, seems happy. There's the meeting. So trying to spot when they're. Alright, I'm going to wait till day 3 and then we'll start going through things, shall we? Like, also, I get like a weird, I get a boop noise that makes it sound like I've got it wrong.
Yeah, I've noticed that actually, yeah.
What happens if I do get it wrong? Ah, yeah, okay. So if I get it wrong, I get a sort of noise and I lost energy and the boss was a bit annoyed with me. Oh. Okay. Low energy. Low energy? Okay, I'm going to drink a coffee. Oh, it's day 3. Here we go. Okay, I'm not sure whether we're going to get any events and things. I was sort of hoping we would. But I get a feeling this is going to carry on. So should we start making our way through the criteria and see kind of what happens?
Yeah.
So first up, presentation. There's bits of this I really like. I love the style of it. I love the break room looks great and is the same style as your desk and is not too different from the meeting room, I think. There's a couple of oddities, like this coffee cup is pixel art, the boss is pixel art, the coffee tray is pixel. So that's definitely a mismatch of styles, but they're only minor elements. The music is appropriately repetitive. In fact, I'm wondering whether I should open my volume mixer and turn it down a bit. There we go. So yeah, and information design. I'm kind of, that's nice and clear. There's not a huge amount of information to pass on to me. But okay, so in terms of presentation, I would say it doesn't feel quite professional, which would be the good level, in that it just has these few little niggles that make it feel like it's got a few rough edges, but it's definitely workable. It's it's effective, a few little inconsistencies, but generally works well. That's kind of my gut feeling.
I think mine too.
And in terms of meaningful play, I wish they would say which ones of these I'd read. That's a little bit of information design that's missing, I think. I'm expecting a meeting in a minute as well. So yeah, in terms of meaningful play, so Satisfactory is playable, but that might have fewer mechanics, may have some minor bugs. I haven't spotted any bugs, but the mechanics do seem quite limited. I'm basically clicking on these, hitting a start task. That'll occasionally give me a little mini game in here, And then the meetings obviously give me a new type of mini game. So it's a bit of a shame that there's not more to it than that. Oh, got it wrong. Oh, I have to do it again. Oops, so I'm not concentrating. There we go. Low energy, go and get a coffee. I've got one ready. There we go. More emails. Yeah, okay. So in terms of play, so yeah, it feels roughly like the playable level to me. A pass will be challenging with few mechanics or awkward controls, and I don't feel it feels down there. No. But also, I'm not that engaged, if I'm honest. You know, I'm kind of... There's some bits about it I like that are, you know, when you've got that little puzzle, you're engaged in that puzzle. When the other puzzle comes up in the meeting room, you're engaged in that. But overall, my kind of general engagement with the game, I think, isn't there. So yeah, probably a satisfactory for play. So if we start thinking about level design, so the brief, this is level design and the tutorial element. What do we think about the level design? Goals, risks and rewards, and the pacing. What my goal is? What's my goal?
Know. The goal is quite... Well, I suppose your goal is to have your boss
be happy,
kind of happy with you. Which
but it's never gone. No, I'm not. Again, maybe the difficulty is just off.
Yeah, I think that.
Brew my coffees for the day. I mean, this doesn't help, right? That I brew the coffees, then it makes 3 coffees, and then I can just have them whenever I like. So I just brew them at the beginning, and then we're kind of sorted then. So yeah, I would say the goal is clear, which is to just do the tasks, but they're not challenging me. Well, I'm going to say that I'm going to mess this up now. These are getting challenging, particularly as I'm talking. But oops. Oh, I can't be bothered to do it. Just won't do that task. So yeah, I'm also wondering. So those ones with the thing, every time I click, it uses up some energy. And so at some point, those tasks are going to get impossible, right? Because the energy to use the task will exceed my amount of energy.
Yes.
And the other thing is, I'm not sure whether I need to, right? Because presumably the boss is going to be happy with me because I'm clicking on the basic, the basic ones. Is that enough to keep the boss happy? Although, does the boss get happy with me when I click on something that's correct? Oh, I missed the yellow there.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It just doesn't seem to change very much. So, okay, and then if we think about... So the goal, I think, is a little bit... I mean, it's there, but it's not very... I'm not driven to do it. It doesn't feel like it's a kind of real imperative for me. And I don't... Also, within the game, I'm not really sure what my game... I mean, you could argue that this day 4 and thing up here, this is my score, kind of. So the goal's to last as long as possible, but... Yeah. And then risks and rewards. Have I had any risks and rewards?
It feels quite linear in a way. I don't feel like you have like different avenues that you could go down, one being more riskier than the other.
I mean, I suppose you could argue that my strategy of which of these to do, possibly. But then I don't. But it doesn't tell me what they are up front. And that seems about it, really. You know, I would expect to have some options about the sorts of things I was doing, in order to. I see that makes the boss happy with me. So I'm wondering whether I can just survive just by ignoring all the things which are hard, and just do the easy ones. Yeah. So okay, so in terms of risks and rewards, I think it's very, very limited. So if we look at the criteria, a pass would be a limited set of goals, risks and rewards, and a poor would be an incoherent or very limited set of goals, risks and rewards. And I actually think we might be there for this, unfortunately. Yeah. I just don't really have much in terms of meaningful choices I'm doing. Oh, we forgot about the pick up the phone thing.
That doesn't seem to do anything really either. So responding makes your boss more unhappy.
So just hang up. Well, that's weird.
Okay.
So, but it's
so
not.
Your energy goes up.
It went up. Well. Oh, I see. So am I chatting on the phone? So is that what happened? It's a way of trading energy for boss happiness, is it? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that was goals, risks, and rewards. Pacing. Well,
it was quite high at the start. I feel like everything was thrown at us at the start, and then
there's no.
The tension kind of disappeared as we did more tasks. I don't know if you.
Yeah, as I got used to them. So the one thing that does get harder is the puzzle that comes up.
Yes.
So that does get harder, but I can just ignore those puzzles. So what we're really looking for here is something which gets more challenging as time goes on. But with a kind of pattern to it, so it feels like I'm overcoming challenges and I have a little bit of a rest. I overcome some more challenges, have a bit more of a rest. That kind of feeling. And I'm not getting that here. I'm getting a very gradual rise in tension, driven purely by the puzzles. I think. What is a meeting happening? I'm not even sure that this is getting harder, is it? Is there more?
I don't think so. I thought it might
is it getting fast? Yeah, maybe. You'd think. I suppose if they were appearing more quickly and disappearing more quickly, that would make it more difficult, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I do find it odd that my energy level goes down when I'm. Okay. Yeah, okay. So a pass for pacing would be tension somewhat rises over time. There's an argument for that. Poor will be variations in tension but no coherent pattern over time. Maybe between the two, it doesn't feel like it's completely incoherent. It feels like, stuff's happening and there's more things going on, but these tasks are weird as well. The fact that they just you click on them just to complete them, and then you don't know which ones you've done. So yeah, I think maybe between the two for pacing, to reflect the fact that the puzzles, at least one of the puzzles anyway, is getting harder. What about the tutorial at the beginning?
I don't remember the tutorial actually.
Shall we restart it? I don't think we're necessarily going to see too much more here. So, right, let me just kill the game and we'll restart and have a look at that tutorial. So, hang on a second. Right, here we go again. So we start the game. So these little things pop up. Boss's patience. Click your email about the screen. So that's kind of nice. I like the way they come on and they sort of fade away gradually. They tell me what to do. Don't let too many pile up. But is that it?
Okay.
Did it tell me about the coffee? Or I could
at some point,
brew coffee.
Oh yeah.
Wasting coffee will make the boss unhappy. So, I think that might be it. So the only other bit would be that I think we had a similar set of instructions for the meeting. And that only comes up obviously when you're in the meeting. So with a tutorial what we're really looking for is something which is integrated with play, which explains things as you need them and where they're kind of playing, not telling, right? So I think one of the problems here is that they're definitely telling, right? It's almost by the nature of the game, to be honest, but they are to a certain extent revealing things as we need them. It's just there's not that much to reveal because of the simplicity of the game. So a pass would be a gradual explanation of gameplay and controls revealed as you play, and a poor would be some explanation of gameplay and controls.
I think they've told us everything that we need to play.
Yeah, so I think it's probably at the pass level. It's just not particularly aligned with play. You know, it's just revealed as we play.
Yeah.
You know, yes, we're getting the stuff coming up, like in the meeting here, I think it tells me. Yeah. Yeah. But there's... Get to the office and pick up. So it tells me to pick up. Oh, I've got to wait till they stop.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's okay. So that's a little game as well we missed. Yeah, so I think probably a pass for the tutorial. And I don't think we can argue it's aligned with play because it's so simple. I don't know. This was the. Also, this doesn't explain what this is. I mean, it's fairly obvious, in fairness. I think to anyone who either has kids or has been a kid.
Yeah.
But all right. Okay, so that's the tutorial. So that takes us on to the core dynamic, which I'm guessing they've said is survival. In their game notes, I'm assuming that's what they were going for.
Yeah, survival. This is shown by the boss satisfaction or HP bar. If for each task left unfinished, it slowly drains the bar. I haven't actually seen a slow drain of the bar, but...
No. And also they're not giving us enough information about that. Because they're not telling us which tasks have not been completed.
Yeah. I also say it gets progressively harder to complete everything that's set out.
Yeah.
This creates a good survival diet. I don't agree with that really. I don't see it kind of like
it's
not
getting radically more difficult. There's also something weird here where my energy goes down when I click the right thing, which is just a bit strange. So okay, so in terms of a core dynamic, it's kind of difficult this because I think they have built a survival. It is survival. You are trying to do the tasks. You're trying to keep your energy levels up and balancing that with the boss's satisfaction. It's just that their testing is way off, right? Their calibration of this is wrong. So you're not actually feeling under stress. You have no feeling of survival. But the theme is pulling in that direction, and all the mechanics are pulling in that direction. And arguably even some of the little sub-mechanics, sub-dynamics they have, like the little puzzle that they've got going on, is also, it's like you've got to complete the puzzle in order to... So it's all pulling in the right direction. It's just because the boss never gets particularly angry and you've got plenty of energy, it never works. Right?
Yeah.
It never hits it. So I kind of feel that we're in a bit of trouble here with the criteria because they don't quite capture that. So satisfactory would be a clear core dynamic that is partially supported by the primary mechanics, and good would be a clear core dynamic that is supported by the primary mechanics. I think it probably, the excellent is an integrated set of mechanics, and I wouldn't say they're well integrated.
No.
Right? But the real problem is that, yes, it's supported by the primary mechanics, but they're calibrated poorly. So actually you don't get the dynamic at all. There is, it's designed for a survival dynamic, but you don't really get one. So I'm tempted to say that because of that, we might end up at the sort of satisfactory, one level down. And I know that says it's partially supported by the primary mechanics, but I think that's because the primary mechanics are the right ones, but they just don't work properly in order to support it. So that's how we would explain it. And that takes us on to feedback. And what did they say about feedback?
So mechanics relating to win-loss should focus more on the core survival dynamic. Our response was to change our first idea of a hidden variable which dictates whether you win or lose to a visible bar,
Yeah.
so that they can see how well they're surviving and how close they are to
Yeah.
losing the game. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
They introduced another task, and then they said, well, they wanted to have a lot more variety and complexity of the tasks that you complete.
Yeah.
However, instead we picked out a few that would be different enough to be interesting while still being feasible to implement. Okay.
I mean, it has to be said that I always say to students, don't go anywhere near mini games, right? Because when you have a coursework like this, basically, to make a mini game work well is as much effort as making a big game work well.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is, if you have a game with 3 mini games, you're actually building 3 games, right? And it's like, no, don't do that. No, concentrate. So you know, I appreciate, and they've obviously got round it here by making the games quite simple, but I mean they're effective. They work. You know, and I still laugh. I laugh at the boardroom analogy is nice. You know, spotting the people who are actually talking sense.
Yes.
There's a nice irony to that.
Mm.
But yeah, okay. So I can understand about the variety of the mini games, but actually I would rather they've concentrated on the main thing you were doing, which was this completing tasks, and then making this more interesting. And I think the way to do that isn't to make the tasks be mini games, but to perhaps have to do something with the tasks. You know, allocate resources to the tasks. You're making choices between which tasks to complete. This goes back to the goals, risks, and rewards thing, right? So if I had two options for things to do, and I can only do one of them, for example, and I have to pick, and then live with the consequences of that. If I'm allocating resources to tasks, I might have to look ahead to see what tasks I've got, and then pick something which gives me the resources which enables me to do the future tasks. And then the complexity comes out of, as I get more tasks and I have, I've got more to deal with and that kind of stuff. And that would have been a much more satisfying game. And I think the mini games thing was a real red herring that although they've actually managed to make it work, has not served them very well, I think. Yeah, okay. Did they have any other feedback items?
They're saying about they wanted to do multiple tasks at once. So apparently before they had it sequentially, so they wanted to actually have sort of like, a task like I think it was so like you're brewing coffee in one room, but then you're also having a meeting, but then you're also that kind of thing, which I suppose has kind of worked. I mean it goes back to the game title of Stress Incorporated. So I'm guessing having things, like you're saying about what would have been really good for the task allocation thing, but also having that in, simultaneously as other things that you were also doing. So like almost like a managing sort of thing.
I agree actually. So I think that the meeting thing works well, and actually the meeting task, maybe you could have kept that as a kind of a distraction from the main thing you were doing. And it's like, oh God, I've got to go and do this stupid thing. And meanwhile, I've got all these other things that I'm trying to be balancing and managing.
Yeah.
That would have worked better, I think. So yeah, maybe. And I think having the rooms is good. The fact that you've got to go in here to drink a coffee and all the rest of it, that does work. So okay, so if we think about what they've done, as satisfactory would be the feedback was addressed and the changes have been somewhat successful. And that kind of feels where we are. It feels like the second one you mentioned, they actually have been successful. They've worked. But the first one about the variety, they kind of they went the wrong way. They brought variety in by creating more mini games as opposed to creating more depth with their main task system.
Yes.
So a balance of that would be a satisfactory level. So. These are difficult games to get right. I think when they work well, they can be really good, and I can see how you could tweak this. And they probably needed a bit more of a complex task system, and they probably a bit more play testing to get the balance right between the energy and the boss. So good foundations for a game here, I think, and a good attempt. But yeah, difficult to get right. Okay, I think that was our last game for this video. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again in another video.